what? I'm glad you guys waited. I love you too. You guys are very, very awesome. Okay, several people, show me your nails. Okay, so can you see, Hurley? I did, when I took off my red manicure from last week, I said, what do you guys, on my Instagram, what do you guys want me to do next? And somebody said that, they said, oh, do rainbow nails for Gay Pride and Gay Pride Month. And I was like, brilliant, because my daughter is gay. And so I was like, that's great. I'm totally committed to Gay Pride. Anyway, and then somebody else said, oh, do purple with hollow. And I said, I can do that. So there we go. And being a busy mom and entrepreneur and all the things, I was like, I'm not doing them all. So there, accent nails. So somebody said, what will I do next time? I don't know. What are my thoughts on cuticle oil? Coconut oil to use on cuticles and nails. I think it would be really good for your skin. I'm not sure about the chemical structure of it, because like jojoba wax ester, you look at it under the microscope, and by the way, people call it oil. It's not an oil. It just happens to be liquid at a certain temperature, at room temperature, and so it looks like an oil, but it's really not. It's very, very different. And you look at it under the microscope, and it looks almost identical to a sebum, which is our body oil. So if body oil can come up through the skin and up through the nail plate, which keeps it flexible, then jojoba wax ester can go down in. But what's really interesting, and I'm going to call out my girlfriend and my mother, because I did all of this talking about how jojoba is so wonderful. So they went, after they ran out of my oil, then they went and just got straight jojoba, and they both came back to me like within a week of, and they were like, it doesn't work. It does not work the same way. So there is this thing that happens when you put different oils together, and it becomes this sort of synergistic relationship, I guess, and one ingredient can help the other ingredient absorb better. So like for olive oil, so like and you can see this, the chemical structure on, and I think I'll have the picture of it put in the replay of this video, but it goes out straight. So sebum, body oil, goes out straight, and it's got all of these different atoms. And then jojoba looks almost identical. And then olive oil, I can't do it with my hands, but olive oil has three, it's called branched chains, I think. Those of you who are chemists will correct me. But anyway, so it looks like three branches coming off. So when you look at it as a molecular structure thing, because it's bigger, it's going to be harder for it to penetrate the nail plate. But when you combine it with other things like jojoba, I don't know how it works, but there is this, there's positive and negative electrons, and there is this potential that it pulls, so the jojoba helps pull in the other molecules so that it just works. And so every nail oil blend that is out there will behave differently, and you will get different results. What's really cool, and somebody was watching over me, thank you, I just did a lot of research and picking and choosing the ingredients, and it was a huge success. So, Christina, what will I do next time? What will I do next time if what? If it pauses, I have not figured out how to unpause something. So I will be doing some, do cat nails. Cat nails. Okay, I'll put that in the queue. Do horse nails. You guys are so funny. If I'm going to do anything that creative, it's going to be stamping, and I don't tend to have as much time to do stamping as much as I love it. Okay. Rhiannon says, it's my lucky day that you live stream 2 times a day. And actually, technically, it's like 2.5 because my mom calling in paused it. And that's just rude. Oh, what's the difference between your oil and C&D solar oil? That's a fantastic question. People who use C&D regularly and then when they try our oil, they're like, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Solar oil is based on its ingredients because it's got jojoba like third or fourth. And the reason that a lot of companies don't like to use jojoba is because it's incredibly expensive compared to other oils. And so they have less expensive oils that are thicker, and so they don't penetrate as well, and they just sit on the surface more. They do penetrate, but not as well. So people who have tried solar oil and then try ours, they just like ours better. But then, there's a couple people who are like, nope, I like C&D solar oil better. And why is that? Because wherever they live, whatever their skin type is, they like that thicker oil. So does acrylic paint dry out your nails? I use a lot of acrylic paint. No, it doesn't. It dries. You're painting it onto dead nails. So it won't hurt them at all. In fact, this was done, so this, you guys, was done with acrylic, and it's a really, really good point. For those of us who do, especially, oh my gosh, these girls that do like Kincaid, Thomas Kincaid type of paintings on their nails that are just exquisite. They all use acrylic. They use acrylic paint. They don't use polish, because polish dries a lot faster. As you're working with the colors, they smudge each other because you're taking a wet polish and putting it with dry polish, and then it's going to re-wet it, and then it all smears and smudges. So acrylic is a lot more forgiving. It dries quickly, and and it can look really bumpy and icky. Don't worry about that. As soon as you put your high gloss quick dry top coat over it, magic. Beautiful. Do you ever, Lizzie O Dancer says, do you ever get my nails done ever? Nope, and I don't. And it's because, number one, I think I would get mad at most of the nail professional, here's what I think. The salons that are really, really inexpensive, they usually are not up to date on the latest education about the change in the industry. The last 10 years, the acrylic chemistry, the acrylic products have improved so much. And then now we've got gel, which is, people think, gel is safer or better than acrylic. No. They're actually very, very similar in terms of a chemical structure. So my big problem is they're going to want to cut this proximal fold of the eponychium, and I would be just like, no, don't touch this live skin. And so and then I also like doing my nails because it's relaxing and it's me taking care of myself and feeling pretty. So I would just rather do it myself, especially since I know so much, and it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, I do. I just like doing it. Izzy says, how has your nail oil recipe changed since you first made it? Has the recipe changed a lot, or it stayed the same? That is a great question. It is exactly the same except for one ingredient. And when I found out about olive squalane, and I have an article about that on nailcarehq.com. And so if you Google olive squalane, it's very, so squalane, actually squalene, and squalane is very, very similar. Anyway, it's the E and the A. So squalene comes from sperm whales. And since whale hunting was banned in the 1970s, It was used in a lot of cosmetic products, and so they had to find a solution. Guess what the solution was? Jojoba wax ester, because it's, again, squalene works so well because it's almost identical to body oil. So especially when, and I've got that on my website somewhere. I need to do an article that is just those pictures. But anyway, so when I found out about the olive squalene, I thought, you know what, I think I want to include that. And but it didn't change the way the oil works all that much. I just wanted to add it, and I really, really like it. What do I think? Anna says, what do I think about ceramic cuticle pushers? That is such a great question. To me, it really doesn't matter what, I don't even know if I've seen a ceramic cuticle pusher. I've seen plastic ones and silicone ones, and then the metal one that I use. But it's really, really, I don't think the tool is the issue. I think it's the use of the tool. And so the key is to just be very, very gentle. The cuticle is, so for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who heard it a lot, I'm sorry, but we're constantly getting new people who have never ever seen me or heard or read my website or anything. So the cuticle is the dead skin that's on the nail plate. It's not the proximal fold of the eponychium, which is that skin that everybody wants to cut. So the cuticle is the dead skin on the nail plate. Well, why do we want to remove that? Because polish doesn't stick to skin. So if you've got dead skin on your nail plate, your polish is going to chip much easier. So you just want to be very, very gentle as you're scraping back, because if you push too hard, you're going to create bruises. It's going to hurt. And you really don't need this downward pressure. It's sliding it across. The downward pressure is not good. Just be careful with the tool. Okay, so Vanessa, you said you bent your nail and you now have this horizontal line of blood. So did I answered that with the last one? Did it get missed? Sorry. I did answer it already, but I will do it. I'll do it real quickly again. So if you bent it, and now basically what you have is a blood bruise. It's kind of like a blood blister underneath there. So it's just kind of like if you get a bruise on your arm, and basically the body will it reabsorbs the blood. But if it doesn't, if the blood has gotten into some of those nail cells and doesn't seem to be going away, don't worry about it. Just as it grows out, it will go away. So no permanent damage. How can I grow my nails out long when they always chip and peel no matter what I try? I would ask you, have you tried our oil? But there's several things of if your nails are peeling, there's so many questions I would need to ask you to find out where are we falling down, of what are the things that we could do to improve so that your nails don't chip and peel. But I will be honest, you guys, every once in a while my nails peel too. My nails break too. It's all of this advice that I have and all of this knowledge that I have isn't going to eliminate peels and breaks and those kind of things. If you laid in bed like you were healing from a surgery, or you were really, really sick, if you laid in bed all the time and didn't do anything, you wouldn't break your nails, and they would grow really, really nice and long. And then as soon as you got up and you started taking a shower, putting makeup on, making breakfast, dealing with pots and pans, doing all of these things, I mean, even just shampooing your hair, now suddenly you're putting forces against your nails, and they may just get mad at you and break. I know they don't get mad, but sometimes it feels like it. So the key is to make sure that your nails are very, very well hydrated with a good high quality jojoba wax ester based nail oil. So and then the next tip is make sure that they are polished all the time. So yes, ladies, okay, you can have a little happy dance, Polish is very, very good for your nails. Don't listen to anybody who says polish is so horrible for your nails and you should let your nails breathe. Oh, that one just your nails are dead. They do not have lungs. They do not need to breathe. And actually taking the polish off and not having polish on them for a week or whatever to quote breathe, you will do more damage with all the water absorption that gets into your nails, and it will push your nail layers apart. It's kind of like my analogy for that is if you've got a book with lots of nice tight pages and then you get that book wet and then you let the book dry out, the pages will dry, but they'll dry all wonky and they won't lay flat like they did before. This is what happens to your nail layers with repeated exposure. It's not just one exposure, but it's repeated exposure to water over and over and over. And especially if you're taking long showers or you're sitting in a bath and you're getting your nails are soaked, you know, when you've got pruny fingers and you've got too much water in your nails. So there's several things. And so I have an article at nailcarehq.com, and then look up 2 articles. Chipped polish from the shower, and then also what was the other one? Oh, the Fab 5 wrap. That's where I teach about, and this, oh you guys, this is what, remember when I was talking on the last one, for those of you who were there, when I was talking about how I got into the 2-week long rabbit hole, and I didn't have a solution for how to get my polish to stop chipping in the shower. It took a whole nother year before I finally figured out it's because water was absorbing from this side. So I had my nails all nicely polished from the top. Water wasn't absorbing from the top, but it was absorbing from the underside, and basically the water was going all the way through and it was breaking the polish to the nail bond. And so it was causing the polish to lift. And then therefore when I'm washing my hair, water's getting under there and the polish just goes zip and gets caught in my hair, and then I was very, very angry. So it took a while to figure out, oh look, if we paint base coat and top coat wrapped all the way around, then look, now I've got my nails all protected as much as possible from water absorption. Water absorption is the most damaging thing you can do to your nails. Is washing your hands for, the time it takes for you to sing happy birthday, is that going to really mess up your hands? No, actually the soap will do more damage. It's just everything. Everything is stripping the oils from our skin and our nails. So that's why it's important. So I'm hoping I answered enough. So anyway, the Fab 5 wrap, just to conclude on that, is 2 layers of base coat wrapped all the way around, okay? Then 2 layers of your color coat, not wrapped around, because it's a pain in the everything to try and get that polish out from underneath there. And so the 2 coats of color, and then another coat of your quick dry top coat, and wrap that all the way around. So what have we done with our tips? We've actually added 5 layers of polish on the top, 3 layers of polish on the bottom. So now you have 8 layers of polish that are protecting its temporary strength, but it's protecting your nail tip and helping to prevent breaking. The nice thing about polish compared to some of the other products is that polish is flexible. And so when you whack your nails into a cabinet or whatever, and they bend, the polish bends with it too. And what I find is as the polish gets older and it chips, or older and it starts to get crackly, for those of us who can wear who get a manicure to last for 10 days, it starts to kind of dry out and starts to get kind of crackly. And then if you bend it, actually the polish will break at the cracks. Hopefully that makes sense. So actually if you oil any of your products, so your polish, your acrylic, your gel, if you oil the top surface of that product as well, then it does penetrate into the top surface, and it will actually keep that product more flexible and prevent premature cracking. So hopefully I've answered that. It's so cool to see so many of you here. Somebody's talking about water permeable polish for some Arabic regions. And the water, I don't remember why, but there's something about in the Arabic regions where, and I know there's a lot of time during prayer that you cannot wear polish. I was researching this like 3 years ago, I remember. But the whole water permeable polish, you know, we're starting to see it here in the United States. I think it's dumb. Do I get to say that? And Doug would say the same thing, the author of Nail Structure and Product Chemistry. It's dumb. Because if water is the most dangerous thing to our nails, why do we want a polish that lets water in? Because technically they need to breathe and they need moisture, and there is so much that is so wrong with all of that. And I think it's just a lack of understanding of the products and actually what your nails are, because it's still shocking to me of how many companies think that they can create a product that's got vitamins in it and that the vitamins are actually going to penetrate and strengthen your nails. Your nails are dead. Vitamins aren't going to strengthen them or make them grow faster. None of that. It doesn't matter what you put on them. They're dead. If you want stronger nails, eat the vitamins and the minerals and the healthy food and lots of water. That is what's going to give you stronger nails. So what's another tool that would be great for removing the cuticle from the nail plate besides the metal tool? Orange wood stick. Let me pull one out for those of you who don't know what an orange wood stick is. I don't like the orange wood stick, and here's why. Is because it's got, can you guys see this? It's got pretty sharp corners. And when you're working with something that's curved, I just don't like the corners hitting my proximal fold of the eponychium. I just don't like it because it hurts me a little bit. So actually, if I'm just pushing back the proximal fold to release it from the cuticle, then I just use my fingernail. And that way I can do it very gently. I know exactly how much downward pressure I have, because sometimes it's harder to tell what kind of downward pressure you have with another tool, which is why if you're going to use the metal tool, you really want to be very, very careful to slide straight back as much as possible with very little downward pressure. You don't want that. How much money is Simply Peel? Go look at, I don't know what it's currently. We just had to do a cost of inflation price increase. So go to myBlissKiss.com and you can find the price there. It's also on Amazon.com, US only. Anna, is it bad to use nail cuticle remover? No, it's good. There's some things that go with it though. So this is a great question, because cuticle removers are developed to remove the cuticle, but since the entire planet has been duped to know exactly what the cuticle is, they think that it's to remove this skin right down here, this tight band of skin, and that is called the proximal fold of the eponychium. It's very important guardian seal. And people think, oh well, if the bottle says cuticle remover and I know this is my cuticle, then I should remove it. No. The cuticle is actually the dead skin on the nail plate. So yes, that we want to remove because polish doesn't stick to skin. So but the only thing that can dissolve any skin is an ingredient called lye, and some removers call it caustic potash. There's something else and I don't remember what it is, but anyway, they dissolve the skin. So lye dissolves that skin. Does it care whether it's live skin or dead skin that's on your nail plate? No, it doesn't. So the biggest problem with cuticle removers is people are putting it on their live skin, thinking that's what they should be removing, when what you really want to be doing is removing all of this dead skin that's on your nail plate. The challenge with that, okay, so of course we don't want it to dissolve the live skin, because that causes those little shredding hangnails that are really, really painful. That's because the lye has started to dissolve that skin, and so then it starts to shred. So you don't want to get any of that cuticle remover on your live skin. That is darn near almost impossible, which is why then you want to use a latex barrier. And I created Simply Peel for this purpose. Granted, you get to use it for nail art and all of that other stuff, but I created it because I wanted to be able to protect this skin from the lye. And so if you go to youtube.com and look up Bliss Kiss, actually you got to go, so far if you look up Bliss Kiss, you're going to get all kinds of other cool videos from other people. We're getting more videos so that will hopefully show up when you type in Bliss Kiss. So it's youtube.com/C as in channel /Bliss Kiss, and that's where I show how to properly remove the cuticle and explain why it's so important to protect this skin. And I also demonstrate why. So as the cuticle remover is getting on the latex, it actually will go, it dries clear, but the latex will then get white again. And that shows you where you're actually getting it on what would have been live skin. So really, really important to do that when you're using a cuticle remover. The one that I like best is, it's a little blue bottle by Sally Hansen, and I like it because it's a gel. It's much easier to just get it on your cuticle. I don't like the one that's by Blue Cross, not because it's a bad product or anything, but it's so liquid that it just goes everywhere. And since we don't want it going everywhere, I don't like that product. So I hope that helps. Oh, Bugs Bunny Elbow, how did you come up with the name Bliss Kiss? That's such a fun story, because the evolution of our whole business has been interesting, because at first I started doing a website called Simple Nail Art Tips, and what I wanted to do was take other people's nail art and give all of the steps for it. Of course, I was giving them credit, but it was nail art that was already done, but the person who did it didn't give you all of the steps. And so that's what I was originally going to do as a website. And so then the oil was called Pure by Simple Nail Art Tips, and then we ended up doing Simply Pure and by Anna, and then since we were selling it on the nailcarehq.com website, we didn't have a separate sales site. So when we were trying to get onto Amazon, they were like, sorry, you can't have a website address as your brand name. You have to have a brand. And so Corey and I were just brainstorming for, gosh, it seems like 2 or 3 months. And so we kept trying different things, and Amazon kept saying no, 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 no. And finally, I don't know, I was just like, what do you feel when you use our oil? And it's like, it makes your skin feel blissfully happy. And so I was like, Bliss, that would be great. And then I Google it, and there's a company named Bliss, and I was like, snap. So then another word that just showed up was, you sort of feel like your skin has been kissed. And so that's how we came up with Bliss Kiss. And then Amazon was happy. Somebody says, thank you for teaching proper cuticle care. My nails are looking fabulous. Need to order a new bottle. Just finished my first. It smells funky towards the end. That's a great. Do I need to refrigerate it? It's got about a 9-month shelf life. And like if I have bottles around and I'm not using them very much, I will keep them, especially the 4-ounce bottle. You want to keep that in the refrigerator or even the freezer. I have somebody who said she's had the 4-ounce bottle for 4 years in her fridge, and it still smells great. It's just fine. So what happens is the most volatile oil that's in the product is grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil has, and it's this wonderful, wonderful light oil that skin just loves. And so that one goes rancid faster. And so if it's sitting out on a counter, and especially if it's sitting by a window, or gets in a room that has a lot of light, it will bleach it out, and then it will also cause it to go rancid. Here's the funny thing. There's nothing wrong with the oil. It still works just fine, even though it's gone rancid. We just don't like it. We just don't like how it smells. And so that's why. What are the random white lines that you get on your nail? Those are bruises. And grandmothers like to tell you all kinds of different things. It's the number of boyfriends or the number of husbands you're going to have. Some of you are going to tell me the funny things that your older relatives tell you what these little white lines are. But basically, they're bruises. What happens is the matrix is back here where your nail cells are made. Okay? And so when they're growing, they're white. They're this opaque white. And then once they grow past the cuticle line, then it's being nourished by the nail cells are being nourished, and basically they're not, the nail cells are dead. So when I say nourished, it's keeping them soft and flexible enough. So that's what the nail bed does, is it pushes the right amount of water and body oil up through the nail plate to keep it flexible so that it doesn't get all dry and hard and curl on your nail. So, and your nails, the purpose of our nails is to protect your fingertip bone, to protect that. And so that's why we have nails, plus the added thing of we need to be able to scratch and to dig and to pick and to do all of the things that we do. And so it protects your fingertips. Because, I mean, think about it. If we didn't have our nails and we were trying to do all of this stuff that we do with just round padded fingers, we would have a lot less control, and that skin would get raw. And it would be very, very painful. So we've got these hard layers of keratin, and that protects your fingertip bones. So what happens is, when the nail cells, if you hit this part of your eponychium, you hit that, you bang it against a counter or a door or whatever, it gets damaged. And so when it goes past the cuticle line, it doesn't turn transparent. It just stays white. And so there's nothing wrong. The problem is you don't remember damaging and whacking your hand and doing this damage, because by the time it gets to your cuticle line, it's been a month or more before it you can actually see it. So it's just those white lines. They're just little bruises, and they will grow out. Carmen says, do you do manicure cleanup with acetone? And is there too much acetone to use? I do manicure cleanup with acetone. I would never use non-acetone remover, because those two ingredients that make up non-acetone remover, they don't dissolve as fast. And so it's a lot more work. They're more drying to the nails and the skin. Curved nails, somebody says curved nails tend to break and peel more often. And yes, that is true, and it's also false. So because I get a lot of people with really flat nails, and people with flat nails have the problem of it tearing from the side, and so their nails will tear a lot. Like my thumbs are flatter, and they especially on the side walls here, they start to unattach, detach. There we go. They start to detach right here. So I can actually, if I have too much force that pushes the nail that way, it will bend and it will break way back here. It hurts like this. It hurts a lot, but it's tearing because this nail is flatter. So curved nails tend to not necessarily tear on the sides, but the corners will break. So that's why I keep mine squoval, so that I'm actually filing the sides here so that they don't, it relaxes my C-curve a little bit. and so that the corners don't break. And I love the look of squares, but see what I just did? If I had squares, I would have like scratch marks everywhere because I'm dangerous to myself. Have you ever thought about publishing your own nail education book? Yes, it is my blog. And so eventually all of those blog posts will be turned into hopefully multiple books. Because I admit it's hard to find, like if you want just one thing, it would be a lot easier to go look through the contents in a book or the index and go, okay, here's what I want, and open up the page. So instead, what you get to do is go to Google, type in nailcarehq.com and the keyword of what you're looking for, and Google will give it to you on a silver platter. Melly says, yes, mine have only grown because they have been polished every day since December 31st. Yay! Anna says, all my nails get these vertical peels at the tip. Is there a reason for this? Yeah, Anna, do you wear nail polish? If you don't wear nail polish, then, and for those of you who do wear nail polish too, and you're like, why, I've been wearing my polish for, let's say, 5 days. And then you take it off and you notice you've got all these little peels on these edges. Well, the reason is tip wear, okay? So everything that we're due, even just think of scratching your skin. Everything is rubbing against those tips, okay? So even if you have polish on and you've wrapped it all the way around, if your nails are short and you've capped your edges, after about a day, maybe 2 days, all of that polish has worn off the tips. So now when you're in water, so the water is entering in between these layers of polish, and so it's splitting those, it's pulling. Remember what I talked about earlier where it's like a book and the water spreads the layers apart. And so then when you take your polish off, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have some peels, what happened? That's what happened. So if that's an issue for a lot of you, then the best way to do it is every couple of days, redo your top coat. And then that reseals that edge, and then hopefully you'll get less peels. Why is it that some Arabic women can't wear nail polish because every part of their bodies must be reached for pure? Oh, that's why, because every part of their bodies must be reached for purification, which makes sense because and is it purification with water? Because then if the intention is it's a water permeable polish, then water can technically get in so that they can be cleansed. I do not know enough about the Arabic religion. That sounds like a fun rabbit hole that I could go into, but I know it's much easier if you guys just teach me. Is Cuticle Remover good to use? Yes. And I've already talked about this a couple of times, but I've talked about it several times in all of my live feeds that then get recorded and then they're edited by James, and then he puts them up on YouTube. Usually it should be by the end of next week. So I explain how to properly remove the cuticle, why you want to use it, and the reason you want to use a cuticle remover is to remove the cuticle, which is the dead skin on the nail plate. So that's why. So go to YouTube, and then you can also go to nailcarehq.com and type in cuticle and also nail anatomy. I have 2 articles that those will pop up so that will help you. Is it okay to wear gloves while bathing? Heck yeah. And if I have naked nails in between manicures and I have to take a shower, I wear nitrile gloves, so I slather up my nails and my skin with our oil, and sometimes I even use our lotion stick on my hands, and then I put nitrile gloves on, and then I add a hairband, which it's working now. Okay, good. I need somebody to tell my mother to stop calling me. She's screwing this up. So I know that my girlfriend is listening to this, or one of my team members. Tell my mom to stop calling me. She doesn't know. I didn't tell her that I was doing this. Yay, I'm still going. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards here. Let's see. And so maybe I'll hit some of you guys who get down at the bottom, because here's what happens. I got this long feed, and so I sort of start at the top, and you all are asking me questions way faster than I can answer them. And so then some of you are asking questions at the bottom, and I feel bad because I don't get there. And all of a sudden I get this little 2 minutes left. Oh, somebody says, I love all of your information. I went to school back in 1990 and forgotten some of this. And you know what's really cool too is back in 1990, so we're 27 years. There's a lot that's happened in 27 years and a lot more information that we have. So thanks, Izzy. I have to go, but oh, it's so nice. It's so nice that you guys can pop in and pop out. And the other nice thing too is if you miss some of this, know that you can go to YouTube, and James does this fantastic job of he finds all of the different categories or the different topics that I'm doing, and then he puts the links, the direct links in for you. So if you want to hit one question, it's at 7 minutes and 52 seconds, it'll take you right there. So if you have a lunula, is it bad? It isn't bad. It just means it's easier to bang the matrix and hurt the nail cells. That is correct. Because the lunula, and of course this is because I'm now going backwards up the feed. The lunula is everybody wants them. They usually show up on people's thumbs. A lot of people don't have them on their other fingers. But the lunula is the moon, and the reason that it's a different color. So remember what I was talking about in the matrix, and your nail cells are whitish. They're an opaque white. They're whitish, and so since that is the exposed portion of the nail matrix, that's why the color of the nail looks different. And then as it leaves the matrix, almost instantaneously, it leaves the matrix and then it turns clear. And it's turning clear because the right amount of moisture and body oil is being pumped up through the nail bed. Will vitamins stop vertical ridges? My mother has always said to take nail vitamins. Nope. Nope. So ridges are, and hopefully, I'm hoping a bunch of you asked about that. So the ridges are the thickest part of your nail plate. So I'm hoping I catch both of you, but I'm happy to say it again because it's so, so important. So if you think of two mountains, you've got two mountains. Anyway, so you've got two mountains here, and so a mountain is like a ridge. And then you've got a valley in between these two mountains. Okay, what has more dirt? The two mountains, and less dirt is in the valley. So it's really the thing that we want to get rid of, that we would love to improve, would be the grooves in between each of those ridges. And what's happening is the nail matrix and those little spots, each of those tiny little areas, is not functioning at 100% capacity. And that's usually because of our digestion. As we get older, our digestion gets worse, the nail matrix doesn't get as much nutrition, therefore certain spots of it stop working as well, and then you grow thinner portions of your nail. So this is why you never want to file off your ridges, because they are the thickest and the healthiest part of your nail. And so what you really want to do is find a ridge filling base coat, which is stupid. I talked about this last time. It's a dumb name. It's really a groove filling base coat. Anyway, you want something that's going to settle into those grooves and smooth them out so that then you get this nice smooth surface for your nail polish. And another thing that reminds me of is that base coats are formulated to bond to the nail plate. Polish and top coats are formulated to bond. So polish is formulated to bond to base coat. So, and then top coat is also, of course, formulated to bond to a polish. So anything that says it is a base coat and a top coat will stink at both, trying to be both. It won't be a good base coat and it won't be a good top coat because you have different ingredients. The base coat needs to be softer and it has different ingredients that help it bond to the nail plate. This is why if you skip base coat, usually your polish doesn't wear as well because nail polish isn't supposed to bond to the nail plate. So make sure that you're using that base coat and that it's a ridge filling one. And I haven't seen them in a long time, but make sure that it's not a ridge filling base coat that says it has fibers, because the fibers never really settle perfectly into the grooves, and then you just end up with furry nails. Okay, so Christina, I hope I answered your question about why we don't want to envy people who have white moons on all of their nails. Do I have a product for people with latex allergies? No, I don't. And unfortunately, we've looked into, should we work really hard to create a latex free formula, but I was doing some research and only 1% of the population has a latex allergy. So for us as a company, there's not enough drive, especially because I'm so happy with our formula of Simply Peel, and we're working on improving it. So we're taking a really awesome product that works better than so many products, and I specifically worked very hard so that it would dry fast and it would peel quickly. So I think there are latex, in fact I know that there's some indies who are creating latex free skin barriers, protectors, but I've never tried them, so I can't tell you how well they work. What's the difference between jojoba wax ester and jojoba seed oil? Your question went, yeah, I'm so sorry about it pausing. And I wish I could find an unpause button. I'll look that up. But basically, they are the same thing. Jojoba wax ester is a wax ester. It's not an oil. But it's gotten labeled as an oil because it looks like an oil at room temperature. But it's really not. And since it's not an oil, it never, ever goes rancid, which is amazing. Olive oil has a 2-year shelf life. Grapeseed oil has a 9-month shelf life. That's why we say our shelf life is 9 months, because the grapeseed oil is the most volatile. But we have the vitamin E in it, so that it's actually a natural oil preservative, and so that's why we have the vitamin E. And then the vitamin A, which, I need to talk about that. What does it look like if you have a vitamin A allergy? What is it if you get our oil and you apply it, and it makes your skin feel drier, and it makes them hurt, and it makes you start to get some of these hangnails? That is because you have a vitamin A allergy, and they'll get red and inflamed too. So it's like you're expecting all of this relief, and our oil seems to be making it worse. That's because of the vitamin A. It's classic. Every time we send somebody a sample, we get that response, and we send them a sample that has no vitamin A in it. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, your oil's great, fantastic, works amazing, just like it does. So I have the vitamin A in there, which is also called retinol, which you're familiar with in all of the face creams that supposedly get rid of all your wrinkles. Well, it helps with the fine wrinkles around your skin, and so that's why I like the vitamin A. And it's not a lot. You guys, so many people worry about the ratio, vitamin A is not good for you if you take too much and do these things. Yeah, we have to do research. We have to figure out, we have to find places that we trust and sources that we trust to know whether something is harmful, really harmful, or whether you're just being snowed by something. Jojoba wax ester is labeled as an oil just because of that. But I will say that there are different, just like there are different qualities of olive oil, there's different qualities, everything. There's different qualities, also different brands and the way they process their oils. So just because you go, I'm going to go find jojoba, you could try 15 different jojobas, and if you stuck them under the microscope, they could look slightly different. So I think I answered that. I've gone off track, which is, I do that. So hopefully that makes sense. And here's a fun thing. One time we ran out of grapeseed oil, and I was like, I got to get these orders out. So I went down to the grocery store, and I got, they were out of the oil that we really liked. because everything that we did at the beginning was I was shopping on Amazon and grocery stores and all of that. But anyway, so I got they were out of the one that I liked, and so I picked up a different one. And then when I was filling, it was very, very easy for me to see that when I was just even filling the pens, the oil was suddenly different. It just was thicker. And I was like, oh no. I like the consistency of our oil, and I like how light it feels. And so I was like, that grape oil is very different than the one that I chose. So some of you, you go, okay, well, I could just take Anna's recipe. And actually, this is another fun story. At the very, very beginning of our business, I knew that I needed to create trust. And so I actually gave away my recipe. I had it on our website because I wanted to build trust and show that I believed in my product. And then I also explained why it was easier to order from us rather than buying all of these different oils and trying to put them together. And we actually did have a couple of people who were like in Europe, and they took my recipe and they made their own blend, and then we had our first sale. And so because of the sale, it sort of offset the expensive international shipping. And so they tried it, and I got emails from, it was 2 people, got emails from both of them. They're like, we made your recipe, but your oil is better. It works better. It penetrates better. It's what? And it's the ingredients and the companies that we order from, which is what makes it so amazing. What about a gentle mini drill to remove stuck skin? I wouldn't do it. And are you saying stuck skin on your nail plate? I would not do it. Electronic files or drills, they call them e-files in salons, those are really just for filing down thick product. So if you wanted to remove your gel polish faster, you could file down the top surface of the gel and then soak, and there would be less product to soak off, so that would work faster. But you wouldn't ever want to touch your nail plate with a drill. You can't help it. You're going to take layers of your nail off, and it's just going to weaken them. And electronic files should only be used on, I think, should only be used on acrylic, and it's to take that volume down so that then when they do their fills, then they can do them. And I am not a nail professional. I don't work in a salon. I have no desire to work in a salon. I'm just really, really geeky and love learning about all of this stuff. So everything that Doug has said is that we really, really should not use electronic files. Oh, somebody says her orange wood stick has round edges. Great! Well, maybe I need to find new orange wood sticks. Oh, so Dragon Granny says water permeable for purification. So yeah, that's why. So for the Arabic countries, why that's so important for their religion. Because it was my understanding when I was doing some research back then, was that there's several prayers during the day, and you had to have no polish on for these many, many prayers. So that's why there's an industry now for that. Somebody says, I wear gloves tied at the base, wrist with a hair tie without cutting blood circulation when you wash your hair, and I want a mani to last longer. Yeah. And the other time I wear, sometimes I'll wear nitrile gloves if I have made, which is every once in a while, super, super thick, ooey gooey barbecue hamburger with some French fries. I've actually worn gloves so that I didn't make a big mess. Oh my gosh, okay, I've gone back up. Carmen, you're funny. Mom, stop calling. Oh, it stopped at hairband around my wrist. So yeah, that was what I was explaining, was glove, hairband around my wrist. And basically I was trying to, when I'm in the shower, I just normally hold my hands here if I'm wearing the gloves, and I do my shampoo and everything. And guess what? I have 1 minute and 52 seconds left. So let me see if there's one quick question. I love it. You guys said, Mom, stop calling. Somebody says, the med student in me appreciates the scientific based info and reasonings that I give. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anna, we love you and all your information. Thank you. You know, guys, that just makes it so awesome. Okay, 1 minute and 26 seconds. Love Bliss Kiss products. Hey, Bella. I love them too. Do I still have the recipe for the DIY nail polish remover on the Bliss Kiss website? Yes. I want to say Fab 5 wrap. Oh gosh, I don't remember what article that's in. Email us and I can track it down for you. Okay, 57 seconds. Yeah, that recipe is still there, and it's Doug Schoon's recipe. So I do not have an idea of what are good nail vinyls. Okay, bye, Anna. 36 seconds. Thanks for your time. You guys are so odd. Look at that. I got 30 seconds. One more question? Nah. You guys are awesome. So I've gone now for, I've been talking for 2 hours, I think. So anyway, thanks you guys for all the love. And, you know, if you want to find me, nailcarehq.com, also YouTube.
Hey, it's Anna. I've written over 70 nail care articles that you can find at nailcarehq.com. And if you're looking for products that will help you have longer, stronger nails, visit myblisskiss.com. Be sure to push the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get alerted when I publish more videos. This is Anna, signing off and sending you bliss.